The neurological price of toxic relationships. Imagine this. You're relaxing after a long day. Your phone buzzes. You look at the screen, and suddenly your body changes. Your heart beats faster. Your stomach tightens. Your brain instantly says one thing: not this person. But here's the strange part. Your brain isn't just annoyed. In that moment, your nervous system may actually be treating that person like a biological threat, not emotionally, but neurologically. Today, we're going inside the brain to understand something fascinating: why the human brain sometimes decides to completely shut certain people out, and why, in some cases, walking away is not a weakness, it's neurological self-protection. Deep inside your brain sits a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it like a 24-hour smoke detector. Its job is simple: scan the environment, look for danger. When you are around someone who respects you, that detector stays quiet. The brain feels safe, no alarm. But for some people, that detector hasn't been quiet for a long time. These are often the peacekeepers, the people who spent years absorbing everyone else's stress. Every argument, every moment of manipulation, every emotional outburst, each one sends a signal to the amygdala, and the brain reacts instantly. Electrical signals shoot through the limbic system, stress hormones begin to rise. If you could see this on a brain scan, the amygdala would look like a small red ember glowing inside the brain. But this constant alarm has a cost. When the brain believes danger is everywhere, it enters a state called hyper-vigilance. That means the brain is always watching, always preparing, always waiting for the next emotional fire, and staying in that mode is expensive. To keep the alarm system running, the brain starts borrowing energy from other regions, from the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making and emotional control, and from the hippocampus, the area that helps create memories and process experiences. Over time, chronic stress can actually weaken these regions. Scientists have observed this in people exposed to long periods of emotional strain. So when someone says they are emotionally exhausted, it isn't just a feeling. Their brain has been running an emergency system for too long. In that moment, cutting someone off isn't simply anger. From a neurological perspective, it's something else entirely. It's the brain finally switching off a screaming alarm. Because once that alarm stops, the brain finally has the chance to recover. But the story doesn't end with the amygdala, because the moment your brain decides something is wrong, another system gets involved, a powerful nerve called the vagus nerve. This is the longest nerve in your body. It runs like a communication cable between your brain, your heart, and your gut. Think of it like a high-speed signal line that constantly reports how safe your body feels. According to polyvagal theory, your nervous system works a bit like a traffic light. When you feel safe and respected, the light is green. Your body relaxes, your heart stays steady, conversation feels natural. This is the state scientists call social engagement. Your vagus nerve allows you to talk, connect, and feel empathy. But when a relationship becomes a constant drain, manipulation, gaslighting, emotional chaos, your nervous system starts detecting something very different: a power surge. Your heart rhythm becomes unstable, stress signals begin rising, your body starts entering a red light state. And if that stress continues long enough, the brain activates a protective mechanism. It flips what you could think of as a biological circuit breaker. This pushes the nervous system into a state called Dorsal Vagal shutdown. This is the moment many people describe as emotional numbness. You look at someone you've known for years and suddenly feel nothing. No urge to argue, no urge to explain, sometimes not even the energy to care. It can look cold from the outside, but neurologically, something very different is happening. Your body is entering power-saving mode. Your nervous system has calculated that continuing this interaction is too expensive, so it shuts down the emotional circuit completely. And the silence that follows a cutoff isn't always loneliness. Sometimes it's the sound of your nervous system finally stabilizing again. Once the cutoff happens, another system begins to change: your blood chemistry. Because toxic relationships don't just affect emotions, They affect your hormones. Deep above your kidneys sit two small organs called the adrenal glands. Their job is to release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline whenever your brain senses danger. In a draining relationship, those glands are almost always active, preparing you for the next argument, the next manipulation, the next emotional crisis. This is why many long-term peacekeepers experience things like high blood pressure, digestive problems, and that constant feeling of brain fog. Their stress system never fully shuts down. But the moment you finally commit to the cutoff, something important changes. Your brain sends a different signal. For the first time in months, sometimes years, your body receives an all clear. The adrenal glands begin to slow their production, cortisol levels start dropping, and as those stress hormones fall, inflammation inside the body begins to decrease. Even the prefrontal cortex, the brain's decision center, starts getting its energy back. That sudden sense of calm many people feel after cutting someone off is not just emotional relief, it's biological relief. Your organs are finally returning to their normal rhythm. So you're not isolating, you're recalibrating, giving your nervous system the first quiet environment it had in years so the body can finally begin repairing itself. There's a common myth about people who cut others off, that they're impulsive, too emotional, maybe even dramatic. But neuroscience suggests something very different. Many of these people are actually high-level pattern recognizers. To understand this, we need to look at the prefrontal cortex, the decision center of the brain. This area handles logic, planning, and complex social information. And in some people, it becomes extremely sharp, especially in those who grew up in environments where they had to constantly manage other people's emotions. Over time, their brain begins collecting data, thousands of small social signals, patterns of behavior, tiny clues most people miss. So while others are simply listening to what someone says, their brain is quietly running a background scan, watching for micro-expressions, those split-second flashes of anger or contempt, listening to vocal tone, the subtle change that happens when someone is not being honest, and noticing behavior patterns when someone's actions don't match their charming words. It doesn't mean they're judgmental, it means their brain has built a powerful early warning system. When someone new enters their life and begins repeating the same signals from a past toxic pattern, their brain connects the dots almost instantly. In neuroscience, this is called heuristic processing. The brain uses past data to make fast, protective decisions. So they don't wait for a huge argument. They don't wait for a betrayal. Their brain recognizes the pattern early and simply closes the door before the cycle begins again. From the outside, it may look antisocial, but neurologically, it's something else. It's selective protection, a brain that understands its energy is limited and refuses to spend it on a predictable outcome. There's a big difference between loneliness and solitude, and your brain feels it. Loneliness is like starvation. Your brain is craving connection, but finds none. Solitude is a very different thing. It's an intentional fast. Just like your body pauses eating to perform autophagy, cleaning out damaged cells, your brain needs quiet to repair itself. When you step away from draining people, you aren't wishing for your phone to ring. You're giving your brain space, a chance to breathe, a chance to reset without carrying someone else's stress. This is the sanctuary state. You aren't running away, you're moving toward a version of yourself that thrives in calm, not chaos. The moment you hit block and 40 days passed, then something remarkable happens. Your body begins a molecular detox. In a toxic relationship, your adrenal glands are constantly releasing cortisol. This keeps you in chronic stress mode, which can cause high blood pressure, gut problems, and brain fog. Nearly 40 days after the cutoff is final, your brain finally sends the all-clear signal. Cortisol levels drop, inflammation decreases, your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, regains its power. That calm, overwhelming sense isn't just relief, it's your body returning to its natural rhythm. You're not isolating, you're recalibrating, giving your cells the first clean environment they had in years to repair and thrive. Basically, our brain has a limited number of social energy units each day.
Every interaction either spends or adds to them. If your heart races when a certain person calls, that's not a feeling, it's a biological warning. Here's your challenge. Look at your recent calls. Have you cleared your circle and felt that rush of adrenal relief? Share that moment of peace in the comments. You aren't antisocial, you're protecting your most valuable asset, your neurology.